Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is William Henriksen, and this is the Theory Y Manager. I wanted to take the time to make this video to give you a general idea of the intents and purposes of this channel, and to kind of give you a broad overview of what kind of content I'll be releasing starting next week. And that requires me to give you kind of a broad overview of my journey through the American education system. And that journey started like everybody else's. Young kid, elementary school. From day one, I was a terrible student. Hated being in class. I was always the kid getting my name written down on the board with a check mark. I don't know if any of you remember that archaic system, but it was always Billy with 2 checks. And the third check meant I would go to the principal's office. So I would always straddle that line between 2 and 3 check marks. And I remember getting kicked out of one elementary school. I was kicked out of 2 other middle schools. And by the time I graduated from high school, miracle I even did that, but I was around 120 of 140 students in terms of GPA. And when I got out of high school, there were basically 2 options. And the first option was go to college, and the second option was go work in the manufacturing plants. It's kind of how it worked in this town. And I disliked school, but not nearly as much as I disliked the idea of working in a manufacturing plant for the next 40 to 50 years. I saw my dad do that, destroyed his body, so I said I'll tough it out in school. 5 years later, yes, 5 years. It took me 5 years to get the undergrad, but I did it. I got an undergrad in business management. This would have been around 2011, I believe. Yeah, 2011. And there just weren't any jobs. And I thought the solution to that would be to go get an MBA. And in order to do that, I had to join the military. I had no money. So I was in the Navy for 5 years. And by the time, 5 years later after I enlisted, I got out and I had a master's degree and I had started work on a doctoral program. And that's where I'm at now. I'm currently writing my doctoral study. I'm done with all of my coursework. And the more I look back on this last 10 years through school, the more I realize how wildly inefficient this system is. At best, it's wildly inefficient. At worst, it's a scam to make young 18, 19-year-old kids go to school, pay exorbitant amounts of money, and turn them into indentured servants of the government. I know that's kind of a cynical way to look at it, but it is a way to look at it. And what's worse is, over these last 10 years, I've accumulated a house mortgage worth of student debt and no real applicable skills. Now, this isn't some gender study degree. I have an MBA. I have 5 years military experience, and people still aren't really hiring. There could be several reasons for that, but one of the reasons I'm sure is there's nothing that I've learned throughout the undergrad and then the graduate master's degree that I could really translate into the workplace, other than the ability to work hard and learn things. But I did learn one thing in this journey, and it took me 8 years, 8 years down the rabbit hole, 80 grand down the rabbit hole, and then they hit you with the secret, and that is how to find, read, conduct, synthesize, ultimately publish your own academic research. It's the one thing that makes me marketable in the labor place. And they teach you that after you've spent about 100 grand. They make you spend $100,000. And then they teach you the one thing that you can actually use. I'd imagine it's similar to being in Scientology and spending 10 years and all of your money and all of your time and all of your resources investing into this Scientology program, and then you finally get to a high enough level and they bring you in some back room and they sit you down and they go, "You've done enough, you've proven yourself, now we can tell you the real meaning of life." You sit there all giddy, "Yeah, I get to learn." So there was this guy named Xenu from an alien planet, and he brought down a bunch of aliens into a volcano, and then that's why you're sad. The same way that I can imagine the disappointment from a Scientology person, I guess Scientologist, sitting there learning that, I feel similar disappointment to learning the only applicable skill that I've been taught in 10 years of the American education system is how to find and conduct research. And don't get me wrong, it's a very applicable skill, but it's one that does not and should not take 10 years to learn. It's one that you could easily learn in 3 to 4 years, and now with the internet, it's one that you can learn for free. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do with this channel. The purpose of this channel is twofold. It's number one, to be able to circumvent this elitist education system and directly bring you content and ways that you can conduct your own research, and you don't have to make the mistake that I did. You don't have to go through a system of classes that generally have nothing to do with your major. You don't have to go through 2 years of general studies and spend, upwards of 40 grand as a business major learning that rocks and minerals are different. So the purpose of this channel is that, and it's also to bring you some of the more important theories regarding particularly management and motivation, but other sorts of theories related to business, theories that I've picked up along the way through my research that I think everybody should know, that I think should be required reading for anybody going through school. I mean, if you're going to learn what rocks are and how to tell the difference between certain rock formations, you should know how to not be a dickhead in the workplace. And that's essentially what management theories are. It's learning how to get people to respect you without having them hate you. You can make people respect you and hate you, but you're not going to get much work out of them. Or you can get somebody who likes you and respects you, and you're going to get, all things equal, you're going to get the most work out of that person. So my job here on this channel is to transfer the information that took me a house worth of student loans and 10 years of my life to learn, give those to you directly so you don't have to do the same things that I did. That's my job here, and I believe that I can do that. And not only that, I believe I can teach you how to conduct your own academic research if you so choose. That way we can all get along with our lives and not have to spend our young adulthood poor, eating ramen noodles, sucking in massive amounts of debts, just so you can turn around and work a job that has nothing to do with your degree, simply to pay back the debts that you spent your time accumulating. So that's what I'm here to do. That's the purpose of Theory Why Manager. I hope you will follow me along in some of these, I guess, overviews. I wouldn't even call it training or classes. It's just going to be broad overviews, and then I'll probably do some podcasts with some people discussing these theories and these strategies to conduct research. And I'm going to start doing that next weekend. So I hope to see you around. If not, whatever. But if so, I will see you around.